Alicia Bukowski, and I'm here with Henry Ford, West Bloomfield Hospital. I work with their marketing and PR department with community relations. And at Henry Ford, we are so happy to have this many people here from the community, and that's kind of what we are about. We are about healthcare, as you would know from our name, but also we'd like to partner with the community, and that's what we're doing today. And by doing that, it kind of gives us, or it does give us, a healthier community, and that's kind of what we are looking for and what we want to do. So today we have our session on Think Vaping is Safe, Think Again, and a wonderful effort put on by the area coalitions. We have 5 of them today, and I'm looking around and I'd like the, if you could step forward a bit, the coalition executive directors. I'm sorry, I should have arranged this before, but if you just want to come up, in case you have questions afterwards, you kind of would know who to talk to, who's in your area. We have Carol over here. Carol, I say her name wrong all the time.
Mastriani.
I'm not Italian, I am Mastriani. Okay, I'm sorry. Carol is with the Birmingham Bloomfield Coalition, and then Lisa Berkey. And I always put the L in there, so I'm going to tell you my secrets of I don't know names very well, or I know names, I don't remember them. Lisa Berkey was at the West Bloomfield Coalition. And then we have Debbie, and Debbie, I didn't get your last name ever. So. I'm sorry? Words. So we're from the Novi Coalition. And then also from the Huron Valley Coalition, we have Randy Ruth. And then Jordan is also the coordinator for the team over there. Waterford is the other coalition that we've partnered with. Their director couldn't be here today. So these are the coalition people from your community. So if you have questions afterwards or something personal that you want to talk to them, you can talk to them about.
Wait, I'm supposed to introduce myself. Carol Mastriani. I have been Executive Director of Birmingham Bloomfield Community Coalition for almost 10 years now. I'm also a parent. I have 20-year-old twins, a boy and a girl, so like I've had a science experiment going on in my house. And I have had a long time in prevention and other healthcare modalities throughout my career. So I want to just jump right in because I know we're here for vaping, but I'm really curious, how many people in the audience know that smoking is bad for your health? You can just raise your hand. Okay, so we literally have probably every single person in this room, correct? I saw that correctly. Okay, cool. So let's jump in. So, what is vaping? I like this definition because it says vaping is the act of inhaling and exhaling the aerosol, which is a vapor, produced by an e-cigarette or similar device. The term is used because these devices do not produce tobacco smoke, but rather an aerosol, often mistaken for water vapor, which I hear a lot. It's just water. It actually consists of fine particles. And many of these particles contain varying amounts of toxic chemicals, which have been linked to cancer, as well as respiratory and heart disease. And this is from the National Center on Addiction and Substance Abuse. Just a very well-rounded explanation of what vaping is. So, what is a vape and how is it used? I get kind of the basics, and then you move into the more technical with the other presenters tonight. So there's actually the whole vaping, e-cigarette, Cigalite started back in 2007, and it really was to help adults quit smoking. There was always nicotine in them. But then the popularity started to come up, just like with any other business model, and you see the money start rolling in, then you start moving over to the different variations, which is like the hookah stick and other things like that. Then we moved over into vape pens, and all of these things are still out there, which you're starting to get into more higher temperatures, a little bit more sophistication in the technology, and then also the mods, which I'm going to go into the difference between those two in just a few minutes. But once again, this is big money business. And I wanted to point out too, if anyone's heard of that term ENDS, it's electronic nicotine delivery system. And I wanted to point out that this can actually be odorless, and that a lot of these devices, and these are just many, there's so many variations on the theme, it's really hard to keep up, But some of them you can actually use to play music, to answer phone calls, so they're very easy to disguise and not really know what they are. Now these are the components in all the e-cigarettes or vape pens. There's always a battery. There's different kinds of batteries that work to heat up the atomizer. In heating up the liquid in the vape pen, it's very key in terms of the type of experience you're going to get when you use this device. There's also the e-liquid, which this can be anything from a flavoring to nicotine or marijuana. There's the cartridge, which actually holds it. And finally, there's the aerosol, which is what someone actually has a direct impact into their system or goes out into the environment. And this is just one example of what all these different parts look like. And you can even have some of the devices, they'll even be red on the end just to emulate a cigarette. You can turn on and off the heating elements and other things. So, Juul is one of the most popular brands amongst youth. And as a matter of fact, Juul has right now about 72% of a multi-billion-dollar industry. Multi-billion-dollar industry. And I can tell you that this is something that, as you'll notice, this has been made very attractive for young people. So let's just talk about the Juul specifically. What's interesting is it's not really an alternative for smoking. It says right here, Pax Labs, that is the company that owns Juul. Oh, you guys have little monitors up here? Yeah. Cool. Okay, excellent. That if you notice, hey, what can I say? You know, new discoveries all the time. That in their patent that's in Congress, it says it's a method of providing cigarette-like nicotine delivery. So right there, it's like there's some trust issues that we have going on a little bit with Juul and with Pax Labs because, wait a minute, why have they been telling us that there isn't nicotine in it? When it says right here, when you go into their records, there is. Well, big money. Once again, this is a big money industry. So unfortunately, they end up preying on the young and vulnerable in these situations. So it's only water and flavoring, right? Right? Well, let's see. So here are all the different components that have the composition of the different e-cigarette aerosol. So all of these have been found in e-cigarette aerosols. What's interesting is if you look at the ones that are highlighted in yellow, back in 2012, the FDA deemed these as harmful and or potentially harmful substances. So these are in, you know, the e-cigarette. The other thing is because this isn't a regulated industry, just because even buying from the same brand, for example, no two pods of the vape is exactly alike. You can get a little bit more of one chemical and a little bit less of another, depending on what you're purchasing. So where else can these chemicals be found? Well, look at the first one. It's an antifreeze. Next one is a nail polish remover. That is in paints and pesticides. Formaldehyde, embalming. This is what they put in dead people. Nicotine, cigarettes. And then finally, this is in fireworks. This is what is going directly into a person's system, any one of these, depending on how it happened to be manufactured when you are vaping. So the flavors, this is amazing. There are over 7,000 flavors. Do these look like flavors that are geared towards an adult? I mean, do we really? I mean, adults, be serious. Chicken waffle, would you go run into the store for chicken waffle flavoring? Probably not. But yeah, this is just made for adults, right? So this is something I wanted to point out, just so you have a basic idea in terms of the two different types of e-cigarette or vape components. I'm just going to put this all up here right now. Because really, there's two basic differences. One is that the pod, which has the liquid in it, is non-refillable, so you're actually just taking something that already has the e-liquid in and putting it on the device. And then there's ones that are refillable. There's also a difference in terms of when they're talking about salt-based nicotine and free-based nicotine. That's the way it goes into your system and emulates a cigarette. So that's the difference. And what's interesting, just like any other technology, these devices are already obsolete because they're constantly coming out with the next best thing. So let's get to that. So you wonder, so like right here it says 5% strength. What is 5% strength? 5% strength of what for the mango? Well, they want you to be confused because right there, it's 59 milligrams. 59 milligrams of what? So this is actually what one of the Juul pods look like that contain the flavoring and the nicotine. One Juul pod is the equivalent of a pack of cigarettes. Let's think about this for just a moment. Our young people who were at a time, public health has done a great job. The majority of this room knows that cigarettes are bad for your health, smoking cigarettes. So we're getting a generation of people who have never touched nicotine. They're going from 0 to a pack a day, possibly. And unlike a cigarette, where it's a very obvious visually where you start and where it ends, you get down to the butt, how can you really tell? How can you really tell how much that you are taking in and ingesting? So how do youth obtain vapes? Well, older sibling or friend, similar to alcohol and other substances out there. Parents, I will tell you, parents will, we've had in the different schools where parents, when their child's vape pen has been confiscated, they'll come in and give administration a hard time because they paid good money for that vape pen. Because it could be anywhere from $15 to $200 on up for these. Retailers in the area. Retailers, this is a money maker. So not everyone's going to follow the law because money is another addiction, just like gambling and all that. So you're going to try and get away with what you can for as long as you can. Another thing, there are dealers out there. And it's interesting because we have, like for example, other young people who are a little bit older in their teens, that they will go to the middle schools. Now they're already addicted to vaping as well as addicted to the marijuana because they'll also vape marijuana. So to get their fix, they need more money. And so they'll go to our middle schools, and that's how our middle schoolers get it. They'll be right out there on the school grounds. And also online. For example, Amazon, look at right here. You can get 4 pods, so that's the equivalent of 4 packs of cigarettes, anywhere from $1 something to $5 something, which is a lot less expensive than a pack of cigarettes, which is another red flag. And because young people are very savvy, instead of using their parents' credit card or their debit card, because that can be tracked, they will gather Amazon gift cards, go in together, and then order them on Amazon, and they get delivered to someone's house. No one knows the better. Who knows? It could be deodorant, right? And also, for example, this is online. You go to any of the vape sites, and all you have to do is say maybe what state you live in or what country, because this is international, and then you check the box whether or not you're over 18 or not. Yeah, not too much accountability there. And you can really get the starter pack of Juul for $49.99. So, and look at these. Hello, Little Kitty. Is that geared towards adults? I don't know. I'm not going to break my neck to try and go and get Hello, Little Kitty. So these are all things, the slushie, all geared towards young people. Because if you think about it, right now, and I'm back up, actually I'm going to save this point. Let's go to this, because this my point will come right in this section. So what to look for and understand. And this is just a real quick overview, so everyone has a much better idea on this topic. Look for lots of chargers or kids constantly charging things. Because as you saw, like with the Juul, I mean, it's a thumb drive. It's the size of a thumb drive. sweet smelling scents that you're not used to smelling. A new constant or heavy cough. Another thing is just be very aware of what your child's normal is. For example, after juuling or any other vaping, they may appear a little off or maybe a little glassy-eyed because of the rush they've gotten from the product that they have taken in. Going to the bathroom a lot. Big one when you're going, like for example, those college campus tours. If your son or daughter is constantly running to the bathroom, it's not a bladder infection. Also an increase of water intake. The propylene glycol actually attracts water, so you get like a cotton mouth. And then also, I mean, they're so easy to hide. Pockets, pillowcases, backpacks, the car, whatever. Because it could just be another device. It looks like it could be playing music or something. There's something called third-hand smoke. Has anyone heard of third-hand smoke? Heard of second-hand smoke, correct? Well, here's how the vape works. You have someone, they take in the vaporizer, and then the vape goes out into the environment, and what happens is the nicotine and other elements actually get stuck to your furniture, to your carpeting. So once again, then our pets, our infants who crawl around, we can come into contact with this. And then even just sitting there, I mean, anyone's driven by someone, I mean, that's a big poof that comes out. I mean, that's gonna land on you. This is still big tobacco, okay? Because what has happened is with any good business, if you have a product that has reached the maturity level of its life cycle, you're gonna find a way to reinvent it so you can introduce a new product, your revenues can go back up, and if your target audience is starting to age out, you want to bring in the new younger people. So look at this, Newport has blue, and these are just a few, Marlboro's in there, Camel, all of these. This is all big money, big tobacco. This is interesting. Those look like juice boxes, right? Well, what those actually are is that has vape juice in them. And the FDA back in the beginning of May called attention to this because this is something that little ones will mistake this. They don't know whether it's candy. I mean, it looks just like your juice box. That gets them attracted to it, but it's also very dangerous because how can you tell the difference if you're just taking a quick glance? Another thing that just came out with the FDA is, and this was just in September, is they actually have put Juul as well as some of the other big name companies for e-cigarettes on notice. They have 60 days to prove that they are not targeting youth. They're also, the FDA has also sent out over 1,100 letters to retailers such as 7-Eleven, such as Walgreens, and they are giving fines out because for selling to underage, so under 18. I want to just let you know, like in our communities, what we're seeing, for example, Birmingham, Bloomfield, by the time a young person's in 12th grade, 1 in 3 vape, 1 in 4 vape to get high.